guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is going to be another childhood reading conspiracy theories video. I'm really excited because I made a good list and I'm just excited.
My childhood was ruined when my parents left me.
I love childhood reading conspiracy theories a lot because I think that, like, when I talk about celebrities or like the government or like scary shit, like I get too scared of it, but like childhood rooting is just like about TV shows and stuff, so it's kind of fun and fresh. Okay, so the first conspiracy theory is about SpongeBob. I talked about the conspiracy theory that Mr. Krabs, like Krabby Patty's secret recipe was just crab meat, and that's why there's no other crabs in the Bikini Bottom, and that kind of like stresses me out in itself, that theory. I saw this theory about Pearl, which is Mr. Krabs' daughter. She's a whale, and like Mr. Krabs just like isn't a whale. And so the conspiracy theory goes that, think about it, like SpongeBob's parents are sponges.
No, they're not, like cookies.
They're not cookies. They make cookies. His grandma bitch is a sponge. So like, why wouldn't Mr. Krabs' daughter be a crab? So the conspiracy theory is that Mr. Krabs actually did have a real daughter named Pearl, and it was his biological daughter, and she was a crab, but then he killed her to make Krabby Patties, and then replaced her with a lonely whale. But also, like, who's Mr. Krabs' like baby mama, and like why does he have like
maybe
custody?
He found her.
Why does he have custody? Like, who's?
Maybe she's on drugs.
The mom? She's very emotional. She's a Cancer, I'll tell you that. Like, she's like, that's her zodiac sign, or Pisces. The next show we're gonna be talking about is Drake and Josh. This is probably my favorite childhood TV show of all time. I've done like several conspiracy theories about the show in general, but I saw a really interesting conspiracy theory on Twitter, I think, about Helen. So there's this one episode where the Helen that we know and love is just replaced by just another woman that's just not Helen, but this other woman is the iconic Roxy from Hannah Montana. And I just think it's so weird that they just like switched the actors up on us like just midway, acting like we wouldn't notice. But people started to make a conspiracy theory about why Roxy is playing Helen in this one episode. And it was actually kind of interesting because it involves Crazy Steve. The theory goes is that the original Helen is Roxy. So Roxy always worked at the premiere, and then she left the premiere to be Hannah Montana's bodyguard. But when she left to be Hannah Montana's bodyguard, Crazy Steve would have freaked out if this happened because he is very like dependent on like structure. So basically the theory goes that Helen knew that Crazy Steve would freak out if this constant in his life all of a sudden just disappeared. So she replaced her with the Helen that we know and love, and that is the Helen. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's kind of confusing, but basically the theory is that Roxy is the original Helen and her name was Helen, so then they replaced her with actual Helen so that Crazy Steve wouldn't freak out. Okay, another fucking Drake and Josh Mandela effect. I was so weirded out when I like looked up this Helen conspiracy theory, is that Helen was only in 15 episodes. What? Like, I just think that's so bizarre. Like, I remember Helen being in literally almost every single episode, and only 15 of them had Helen in it. Honestly, if there is a reboot, which I've heard some tea about, there is going to be a Drake and Josh reboot, Helen better fucking be in it. Otherwise, I'm gonna be pissed. And she better be, like, honestly the star of it. The next conspiracy theory I high-key actually believe, because Nickelodeon is known for taking actors and reusing them on different TV shows. Zoe 101, they used Victoria Justice, and then they turned Victorious, and then frickin' Drake and Josh, obviously iCarly. But like Disney Channel, I would say not as much at all. Like, I literally think that Disney Channel, especially because of the amount of crossovers that they do, they typically don't repeat actors like that. However, in one instance they did, and that is in Hannah Montana. You guys remember Selena Gomez starred on Hannah Montana as Michaela, the annoying ass, bratty ass pop star. There's actually a conspiracy theory that Michaela is really Alex Russo from Wizards of Waverly Place, because if you think about it, Alex Russo could have easily just gotten bored, used magic, and became a pop star, or like had like a pop star alter ego, kind of similar-ish to Hannah Montana and Miley. So she had this pop star alter ego using magic to do so, and that's where the conspiracy theory is. And I kind of believe it because there was literally a crossover episode, so we know that Hannah Montana and Wizards of Waverly Place is in the same universe because of Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana, which was one of Disney's iconic crossovers. So we know that it exists all in the same universe. So I just think that's such an interesting theory, because if you think about it, like a teenage bitch like a lot of them dream about being pop stars. And Alex Russo is obviously one of the few teenagers who has the resources to do it because she's literally a fucking wizard, so she can do like anything that she wants. So I don't know, I kind of believe it. Also, like, if you think about it, like the Michaela bitch kind of just randomly disappeared, so kind of makes sense. The next conspiracy theory is also about Hannah Montana, and it is about the alternate ending to Hannah Montana. This isn't even a conspiracy theory, but it's certainly childhood ruining, or at least could have been really fucking bad, and I would have been so pissed. But basically, Disney actually recorded an alternate ending to Hannah Montana. It's a terrible idea. Basically, the alternate ending was going to be Miley Stewart just waking up at like the age of like 7 years old, realizing the whole thing was just kind of in her imagination. Like it shows like Miley playing with a doll, pretending like she's a pop star, but like it's really not real. So it would basically be like, if it had ended that way, that all of Hannah Montana was fake. Like nothing was real. It was all in Miley's imagination. The entire events of Hannah Montana was so close to just being completely imaginary, and I would have hated that. Like I would have been so upset if that was the ending. And they actually literally filmed this ending. Like there's footage of it. You can look it up on YouTube. Obviously I can't put it in here because of copyright, but there's a whole ending filmed, and it's just so eerie to think that they almost used that. Like they were so close to ruining so many of our childhoods. Like I would have been so upset if everything was just imaginary. Like all of the people in her life, like Lily and Oliver and just everyone, like it freaks me out. Like it literally, I hate conspiracy theories where everything was a dream. Like they woke up and everything was fake. Like that's the worst, and they almost literally did that. So the next conspiracy theory about Hannah Montana that I'm gonna be talking about has to do with the reboot. I'm so fucking excited. I don't know if it's really actually happening, but obviously Miley was like posting pictures in her Hannah Montana wig and making us all lose our fucking minds. Not only that, but if you look on Instagram, the @Hannah Montana was created like recently, just @Hannah Montana, and I think that's a little suspicious, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did a reboot because like Raven Simone did one. It would be cool if like Miley had like a daughter or something. My god, they should do it where Miley and Nick Jonas, like they should do a Jonas Brothers crossover with Hannah Montana again, and Miley and Nick are like the parents and their kids are Noah Cyrus and Frankie Jonas. Why haven't they used Frankie Jonas yet? Like they never use him for anything, and he's really the bonus Jonas. Like he deserves better. So the conspiracy is basically that Hannah Montana is coming back because of this suspicious Instagram which I'm honestly surprised that @Hannah Montana wasn't already taken. But if it was, like it actually probably was already taken, and somebody probably like higher up contacted Instagram to get it back, which meaning it probably could actually mean a reboot, and I would be so fucking excited for that. Speaking of the Jonas Brothers, we have a few conspiracy theories about them. I'm really excited that they came back. A lot of people are speculating that they're gonna end up going on tour again. Obviously they will. People are speculating that they're gonna bring a ton of like guests with them, like Demi Lovato, Miley Cyrus, and I would honestly just lose it. Like that's so fucking iconic. But a really interesting conspiracy theory about the Jonas Brothers that I haven't even really thought about before revolves around their purity rings. If you guys remember when the Joe Bros were on Disney, they wore purity rings like all the time, which obviously I don't think any of them waited till marriage, possibly Kevin Jonas, but like that's kind of it. They got questioned about this like so much in the media and stuff. So the conspiracy theory goes that Disney actually made the Jonas Brothers wear these purity rings, and I low-key believe it because if you think about it, the Jonas Brothers were like super heartthrob like teen boys like during that time on Disney. So the conspiracy theory is that Disney wanted them to have a super clean-cut image, especially with actually Zac Efron like did not have a clean-cut image because they were like, people like knew that him and Vanessa and Hudgens were like, fuck it. I feel like they maybe wanted to steer away from that, especially because the Jonas Brothers were dating like around in the Disney, keep up the whole pure vibe. So basically,
Wait, hold on. So you don't find Zac Efron attractive?
No.
Really?
Well, he's okay. Like I think he's like good looking.
You wouldn't kiss him?
No, I never thought Zac Efron was cute though. Like even like when I was straight.
Oh my god, I used to get
Harry Styles is like it.
Barbies, and I would get like a regular Barbie that kind of looked like me, but it like didn't because I was 5, and I'd make them have sex.
The Jonas Brothers claim that they wear the purity rings because they grew up in a religious household, but I do think that it's more interesting to kind of take a spin on it and be like, Disney made them wear it to be more clean cut. And it definitely is something that Disney would do, because you have a lot of fucking rules when you're working for Disney. Like, so many rules that are just ridiculous. And I don't know, I feel like purity rings could easily have been one of them. But what do you guys think? So the last conspiracy theory that we're gonna talk about is really fucking emo and kind of dark, but I also like low-key believe it. And it's about Charlie Brown. Basically, the conspiracy theory is that Charlie Brown is bald because he's dying of cancer. I didn't really like believe this because I've heard this about Caillou. I've heard this about like every bitch that's bald. And honestly, I don't know why they make children bald on like TV shows so much. When I read this conspiracy theory that all of the events that happen in Charlie Brown are really his friends visiting him in the hospital. Let me explain. Say all of his friends like Lucy and Linus, they exist in Charlie Brown's life. And Charlie Brown, before he was sick, he would hang out with his friends and go to school with his friends like normal. But once he got sick, he ended up having to spend so much time in the hospital that when his friends came and visited him, like say Lucy would be telling the story about what they had done that day, what all of his like friends and his squad did that day, and Charlie Brown would be picturing himself doing them, and that's kind of the premise of the show or of the comic strip, which is why he's so depressed in them. Like, I kind of believe that. So like if you see Charlie Brown, think of the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. So say they go to see the Great Big Pumpkin, that whole episode happens. Charlie Brown is always negative, always emo and like depressed about everything. So the theory is that all of that stuff actually did happen, but Charlie Brown just wasn't there. So then Lucy or Linus or Sally went to go to the hospital to visit Charlie Brown and told him the story of everything that happened. So then now what we're seeing while watching Peanuts is seeing Charlie Brown's perspective of it, even though it's kind of in his head. Like, the things really happened, but he just wasn't there for them, which is why he's always so depressed in every episode, because he's hearing these stories about his friends having fun and living their lives and being children while he's stuck in a hospital. It's really fucking sad and like just depressing, but I kind of believe it. He would be sad all the time if he was constantly reminded of all the fun things he's missing out on that his friends are getting to do. I don't know, I kind of believe it, but what do you guys think? So that is it for today's video. If you guys liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about these conspiracy theories. I would love to know. I low-key believe like a lot of them, to be honest. So that is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, because I'm always posting really dope ass shit on there. Subscribe for new videos every week, and I will see you guys later. Bye!